Had a short intermission there, and we're going to try to bring you up to date. We did some leg work here, and in the 134-pound class, where they didn't bring the fella out in the match. It was a forfeit for Edinburgh, and he picked up 6 points because David Ray picked up six points because they forfeited that match. In the next match, we had a technical superiority of a 17-2 score of Dressler over Terry Kennedy, and then the last match was a 150-pound match, as we mentioned to you, and Bob Hoffman lost in that to Jim Heffernan from Iowa. There are now, the score at this point here is Edinburgh 8 and Iowa 14. And so at the end of 5 matches, Edinburgh is trailing Iowa 14-8. Now in this match we have Mike Hassey, a defending Division II national champ at 158 pounds, and he is wrestling against Royce Alger of Iowa. Now Royce Alger of Iowa will be making his bid in 158 pound after winning 22 of 27 matches as a rookie, so Alger is a pretty good wrestler in 158 pound class. Now Mike Hassey, the wrestler for Edinburgh, is the NCAA Division II National Championship 84-85, compiling a record of 36-6-1 last year. All right, 2 points for Hassey. So Hassey is starting off very aggressively here in the first period of this 158-pound match.
That takedown, Jack, was scored off a very good counter move. The Iowa kid, as you could look back at the tape, you would see he was really deep in on the single.
A little escape there for Alger of Iowa. So it's 2-1 in favor of Hassey, the defending Division II 158-pound champ. All right, Alger was almost in a predicament there, but he got to the end of the mat, Dick.
That was what we call a high crotch single, Jack. He was up high on the thigh, rotated his head to the outside. He couldn't cut it off, is the wrestling term, to finish it up. Boy, that was a beautiful shot right there. Any young wrestlers looking at that, that's the way it's done. There's something else young wrestlers ought to notice. Is Hassey from Edinburgh led up there, and the kid from Iowa came right back at him.
Well, Dick, look at there. The Edinburgh wrestler is completely off the mat. The Iowa guy's 2 knees are still on her. Why doesn't the referee call time?
All you need are your supporting points in bounds, and he pulled him back in. If I were Mike Deanna, I'd be a little disturbed right about now.
At the referee or this wrestler?
At his wrestler. He just had a lapse of mental lapse there. And he lost the takedown.
Well, still, it looked like he was still on, and the Edinburgh wrestler was completely off, just like last time.
All you need are your supporting points on the mat, and the boy from Iowa had his knees inside the circle.
No, Dan Gable not too excited about that, sitting back there relaxed and just watching. Oh, beautiful move there, Dick.
Yeah, it was successful. It looked a little sloppy, though.
Who did those points go to that time?
It's 3-3 now. That was an escape for Hassey from Edinburgh. Hassey better pick up the tempo and get a little bit aggressive here.
All right, we're in the first period here, the 158-pound weight class. We have a 3-3 tie between Mike Hassey of Edinburgh and Royce Alger of Iowa. And Alger just picked up 2 points on a takedown.
Jack Hassey seems real tenuous on anything that he's doing.
Tenuous, Dick. Let me give it. What does this mean?
He's kind of laid back.
Oh, laid back on it. All right. Was he trying to roll out of that, Dick?
Yeah, he's trying to do a shoulder roll. He's going to end up getting stuck the way he's working it.
All right, that's the end of the first period between Mike Hassey of Edinburgh in a 158-pound class and Royce Alger, and Alger has a 5-3 lead. The score right now in the match is 14 for Iowa, 8 for Edinburgh. Edinburgh gained 6 points on a forfeit. in the 134-pound class. Just trying to get that up. Thank you, Dick. There's a point for who that time?
Iowa boy. Escape for the Iowa.
Oh, Hasse sort of relaxed there. Very tenuous there, Dick.
Yes.
And we have another point total for him, another takedown. So that's 3 takedowns for Alger here in this 158-pound match. And he lets Hasse escape, so it's 8-4. 1:20 left in the second period.
That Iowa kid, Jack, has super hips if you watch his motion there on the counter and those takedowns.
And look at his legs, Dick. He has a nice, well-developed thighs also.
And that comes from doing squats in the weight room.
Oh, a little mistake there by Alger, and Hasse taking advantage of it. But he couldn't take complete advantage and get that takedown. Bruce Bumgardner and Mike Deanna, 2 coaches for Edinburgh. Bumgardner, assistant coach this year. U.S. Olympic champion. Oh, there's a predicament. Dick, what was that?
It's the fireman's carry. He's coming out the back.
And 2 points for Hasse on a takedown. So that brings him a little bit closer. 8-6, Alger of Iowa leads Hasse here in a 158-pound class. And we only have about 5 seconds left in the second period. Look like
Again,
Alger's a little tired there, Dick.
Yeah, again, this last bit, going into this last period, Jack, those several seconds remaining on the clock there are very essential that that kid from Iowa does not get an escape.
You try to break him down, put him flat on the mat then?
Yes.
All right, no points, but the Alger from Iowa, Dick, almost did it. So we're going into the third period now in a 158-pound class, and we have Mike Hasse from Edinburgh, Royce Alger from Iowa, and Alger is leading 6-8. And Iowa leading 14-8 in the match.
Jack, and through the first 2 periods, first 5 minutes of wrestling, there's absolutely 0 riding time at this point. Again, potentially dangerous on the knee.
They still have to go from the down position in, Dick.
Right. There's no change in control.
Hasse almost escaping there, and he'd have picked up 2 points and tied this match up.
Escape would have given him 1.
Oh, 1, excuse me.
You better get moving, Jack.
Well, if he was in a down position, Dick, he would have been reversed him then, right?
No, he could come to his feet for the escape.
Iowa working on those legs. Hasse trying a little bit of move there. Third period, about 1:15 left in the 158-pound class, and it's escape for Hasse. So we have Hasse trailing Alger of Iowa 8-7 in this match. 1 minute left in the third period and in a match. And Hasse picks up another takedown, so Hasse takes the lead 9-8 over Alger of Iowa with 46 seconds left in the third period. Now, if he can maintain this lead, Edinburgh are going to pick up some more points in this match.
He's going to cut the Iowa kid loose right now.
So it's all tied up 9-9. 158-pound match. Now, Dick, did he cut him loose by himself? Did Mike Deaney tell him to cut him loose or what?
He probably cut him loose with the coach's direction.
28 seconds. Third period. 158-pound match. Mike Hassey of Edinburgh. Royce Alger of Iowa. Hassey trying to get control and pick up some points. 13 seconds. Looks like they're not going to make it.
That could be a takedown right there, Jack.
That was the end of the period, Dick. The period ended, and there will be no points awarded.
No riding time, Jack.
No riding time.
9-9.
This next match should be a
So in that match, the 158-pound class between Mike Hassey of Edinburgh and Royce Alger of Iowa. Mike Hassey, Division II defending champ. They ended up in a tie, 9-9. So it will be a draw, and a point total, Dick, then would move us to what?
16 for University of Iowa and 10 for Edinburgh.
All right, so 16-10 Iowa over Edinburgh in this match. And that's the second draw this evening, or this afternoon. We had a draw in a 126-pound class between Dave Wellerman and Matt Eglin of Iowa. They drew, and it was 10-10. All right, now we're going into the Battle of Champions here. Two national champs. Division I champ, Matt Kistler, and Division II champ, Marty Kistler, and Division II champ, Matt Fury of Edinburgh. So this could be a very, very critical one in the match here. A very interesting one to watch for the fans. All right, there's a little bit of a problem with the clock, but the referee called over to the timetable. All right, Fury of Edinburgh against Kistler of Iowa, two national champions on the mat. 167-pound class. These are moving very quickly in this first period, Dick.
They are. These are two very good wrestlers, Jack. Again, notice the thighs, particularly in this kid from Edinburgh. He is a powerful boy.
As we mentioned, Iowa leading in the match, 16-10. We have 4 individual matches to go. And these two gentlemen out on the mat right now, Dick, know what to do. They've been there with the pressure, and they won under the pressure of the championship, right?
That's right, because you don't win a championship, either Division I or Division II, without being able to handle pressure and being able to cope with it. And that was a nice single leg, Jack.
No points yet, Dick, right?
None.
Has to maintain complete control, and Fury gets out of a predicament. All right, we have a shot of Sean O'Day from Meadville. He's wrestling for Edinburgh this year. He's supposed to be redshirted. And Sean will probably be wrestling in the 134-pound class if he wrestles this year, but we understand he's supposed to be redshirted for the year. All right, Matt Fury from Edinburgh in red. Marty Kistler, Iowa in black. 2-1. Kistler leading in his 167-pound match.
Jack, the reason these heavier kids look so slow is they're very deliberate in what they do, because they're such strong individuals. If they make an error, it's not going to be a takedown. It's going to end up being many times takedown and back points. So they're very, very deliberate in what they do. But when they move, they're going to be very quick, so you've got to watch them.
All right, the official for tonight's match, we've mentioned him, Gary Smith. He's from North Canton, Ohio. Excuse me. This matchup between Division II Edinburgh against Division I NCAA champions, Iowa. Two excellent coaches, Mike Deanna and former Iowa wrestler under Coach Dan Gable. And we have on the mat right now 2 division champions. Matt Fury from Edinburgh and Marty Kessler from Iowa.
Another double leg takedown, Jack.
And that's another takedown for Kessler, so he leads in this little match of a 4-2. 32 seconds left in the first period, and Bumgardner is calling out some information to Fury on the mat at this time. So Bumgardner might have control of the heavyweights in this program.
He probably spends more time working with them than he does with the later kids, Jack.
Trying to wiggle his way out of it, Dick. The whistle, what was that, a penalty?
No, Jack, he's warned the Iowa boy for stalling. That means he's making no attempt to take the Edinburgh wrestler, Matt Fury, back to the mat.
Wasn't to a point where he couldn't do anything anyway? And if he couldn't do anything, the referee would just call time in, right?
You should let him go. He's got to make the effort. He's aggressive, and a top wrestler is responsible for initiating the action.
All right, that's the end of the first period. In his 167-pound weight class, the Battle of Champions, Matt Fury of Edinburgh and Marty Kessler of Iowa, and Kessler leads 4-2 going into the second period.
I think we could see some back points coming up here, Jack.
Fury has got his arm connected up in there, and we have Kessler working very hard to turn him over. Looked like he had him in an Nelson there, Dick, and
No,
he tried to run him over.
That was a cradle, Jack.
Oh,
He
cradle.
had the neck and the leg.
Oh, when you got the neck and the leg, it's a cradle, and if you don't have the legs, it's just a Nelson, right?
Yep.
1:45 left in the second period. Kessler of Iowa leading Fury of Edinburgh 4-1. And look at the arms and the muscle definition on both of those fellas. And there's an escape for Fury. Worked hard for that, Dick, didn't he?
He did. I think if he came just based on strength, Fury may be the stronger of these two kids.
All right, Fury just a takedown away from tying up old Kessler here. 4-2. Kessler leads from Iowa. And there's another takedown for Kessler. He got that takedown just before they get off the mat there.
Right. Kessler's totally dominating this match, Jack, on his feet. Fury's wrestling strictly a defensive match at this point.
Is that the indication of difference between Division I champion and Division II champion?
No, I don't think that has too much
Do you
to
think
do with
that just Fury isn't wrestling to his capabilities right now?
That's possible, but this Kessler is a pretty tough individual.
Going for the cradle again, Dick?
That's right. Fury escaped.
Another escape. So that makes it 6-3 in favor of Kessler from Iowa over Fury from Edinburgh.
Now it's 8-3, another takedown.
Another takedown. Kessler just going through his job methodically, right? Just moving into him, getting him, accumulating points, and Fury not being able to handle the situation. Of course, Kessler has been in complete control, as you said.
Fury was just warned for stalling. That means he's laying on his belly in the mat there, not attempting to adjust his position.
All right, that's the end of the second period here in the 167-pound classification, with Matt Fury of Edinburgh going against Marty Kessler of Iowa, and Kessler in command of this match, 8-3. The score for the total match for Edinburgh and Iowa, 16 for Iowa and 10 for Edinburgh. Dick, the dimensions of the mat there with the circle, what does that run?
That circle, the bigger circle, Jack, has to be a minimum of 30 feet in circumference. From the looks of that one, that one's probably 40 feet in circumference. There's really no limit to how big it can be.
You saw Fury go tumbling off the mat there, almost into the crowd. We're into the third period, about 1:18 left in the third period, and Kessler of Iowa just picked up 2 more points, so he's leading right now 10-3 over Matt Fury of Edinburgh. And again, working hard to turn him over. He's got both arms pinned back. Dick, what type of hold is that?
It's called a double arm bar, and he's going to start cranking on these pretty soon.
Is this a good way to get him over on his back?
That sure is. There's a
there he goes.
Bar and a hip scissors.
Now, Dick, is that a punishing hold for him? Look at the face on that Edinburgh wrestler, and it looks like he's in pain. But he got out of it. That was the way to go.
More embarrassment than pain.
But that's
it hurts so.
2 more points for Kessler of Iowa.
For near
now, was that an escape, Dick?
And an escape for Fury.
Escape for Fury and a near fall for Kessler. So we have Kessler of Iowa leading Fury of Edinburgh 12-4 with about 24 seconds left in the third period of this 167-pound match. No question, Dick, about this match, who was in command, right?
No, Kessler's really a slick kid, Jack.
Do they drop their wrestlers down to wrestle in these matches like sometimes, and how far can they drop them down?
They'll drop.
That's the end of the third period, and with Marty Kessler decisioning Matt Fury of Edinburgh, the score of 12-4, and we'll take a short pause.
Rico Ciparelli for the Fighting Scots at 177, a sophomore from North Olmsted, Ohio, NCAA East regional titleist last year, Dave Held.
Hi, we're back once again. We're in the 177-pound class, and we have Rico Ciparelli from Iowa, and he's wrestling Dave Held from Edinburgh. Just a few seconds gone here in the first period. Score right now in this match is Iowa 20, Edinburgh 10.
Final score of the last match, 13-4.
All right, Ciparelli with a takedown. Picks up 2 points in this 177-pound match against Dave Held of Edinburgh. Dick, with this wrestling, 2 teams wrestling here, can you see the difference between the Iowa program and the Edinburgh program?
You're looking at a very well-established program, Jack, and one that's in the upswing. If situations at Edinburgh don't change, you're going to see Edinburgh being a major powerhouse in Eastern wrestling.
And we're saying that possibly, I wonder if Edinburgh could wrestle Division I and be in Division II in other sports.
I think they're anticipating going to Division I in another year or so.
Well, I'm sure Mike Deaney will get this program going, and as you say, a couple years from now, maybe Division I and maybe being a power in the United States as far as the NCAA Division I is concerned. Rico Ciparelli from Iowa and Dave Held from Edinburgh in a 177-pound match here. Ciparelli holds a 2-0 lead with 1 takedown. The official for today's match is Gary Smith, and we mentioned he's from North Canton, Ohio. We've been saying North Canfield, and I'll make that correction. He's from North Canton, Ohio. And we see Held not doing too much. Can he get called for stalling down there, Dick?
He sure can. He's down there pretty well, but there's your call right there.
Well, does the referee holler out you're stalling?
The official tells the wrestler, yes he does.
And they're off the mat, and they'll go right back to the center once again. Might mention about Dave Hill, Dick, set a Frosh record last season for the most wins as a freshman here, a 31-15 mark. Placed third in all-time season win list in Edinboro history, and led the team in pins last year with 12. He was an NCAA Division II Eastern champion, and he was 6th national at the national tournament.
All this kid needs, Jack, is a competition at the Division I level, and he's got all the credentials and all the tools to be a competitor at this level.
All right, so that's the end of the first period in a 177-pound weight class. Dave Held of Edinboro going against Rico Chiapparelli of Iowa, and Chiapparelli holds a mere 2-point lead at this time in the match. And as you see here, wrestling is very interesting here. This is a packed house here at the Edinboro Macomb Fieldhouse. And if you get into the national prominence and have a national team come in, the area fans in northwestern Pennsylvania come out to see good wrestling.
Jack, this kind of a program.
That was 1 point there, Dick, yes, was awarded to Chiapparelli for what, an escape?
Escape, yes.
Well, here they were both standing, Dick. How could he?
No, he come off the bottom.
Oh, he came off the bottom?
Just lost a takedown now. It's 5-0.
Okay, Rico Chiapparelli is in complete command of this 177-pound match against Dave Held of Edinboro. 5-0 he leads.
So I was trying to say there a minute ago, Jack, there's a program like this being established at Edinboro has got to be a boon to the wrestling in Erie and Crawford counties, because they have something now that we can associate with and that our kids can look at the high school and junior high and junior level, where they can see the best in the United States.
All right, Dick, we've forgotten one important thing here. That this intercollegiate wrestling match this afternoon is being brought to you by Bush Agency and also the University of Edinboro. So we apologize for not mentioning those sponsors here in the first part of the match.
This Chiapparelli, Jack, has over 3 minutes, or 3.5 minutes of riding time now through 5.5 minutes of the match.
And Held picked up his first point there, an escape from Chiapparelli.
And immediately got taken down again.
And Chiapparelli going to work once again. And these Iowa wrestlers, once they, as you said before, they do an excellent job of wrestling standing up.
So it's where they spend many hours.
So Chiapparelli in complete command here over Dave Held of Edinboro, 7-1. And that is the end of the second period of the 177-pound class. And we see the score 10 for Iowa, 10 for Edinboro, and 20 for Iowa in the match. So Chiapparelli will be down starting this period. Held will be on top. All right, what was that, Dick?
That's a caution. The boy from Edinboro jumped the whistle.
And don't all wrestlers do that? Anticipate a little bit, Dick?
Yes, they anticipate. That I can understand, but when you get down there and you literally line up in the wrong position, there's no excuse for that. And that boy jumped the gun. That's just getting over anxious.
Well, he looks like he's getting a predicament. He's completely on top, and the Iowa Chiapparelli could roll over and get him on his back.
Well, he's coming up out of there, just like you said.
And a reversal for Chiapparelli. So that brings the score to 9-1 in favor of the Iowa wrestler over Dave Held of Edinboro, Rico Chiapparelli. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the third period of this 177-pound match. And Held loses his headgear. Now, Dick, in the other match, the guy lost his headgear and they stopped the match. Now the referee's carrying the headgear around. What's the scoop there?
That's when they were on their feet. Now the official will stop it now. But when you're down on the mat and working for something, they'll let you continue to wrestle.
All right, equipment adjustment here. 1:02 left in the third period of this 177-pound weight class. Dave Held of Edinburgh and Rico Ciparelli of Iowa, and Ciparelli leading 9-2.
Jack, as you look over this program, here we're looking at Mike Deanna as he's looking over, wondering what he could do to help things out here. But this Iowa team, ranked #1 in the nation, only has 5 seniors on this group of people that we're wrestling.
Dick, we'll take a look at this right now. I had written that up. They've got 7 seniors, 9 juniors, 5 sophomores, and 8 freshmen. Pretty good distribution.
That would be on their entire team. That's right.
Another takedown?
Another takedown, yes.
For Ciparelli.
Ciparelli let the Edinburgh kid go and then took him down. If this were a close match, I think you'd say Ciparelli working for the technical fall here.
And basically, Dick, have we seen a lot of the wrestlers work for the pin? We haven't seen too many. Maybe in one match we've seen a guy really start working on a pin.
I don't recall seeing anybody on their back yet. It's all been wrestling.
Now, is this a strategy that might prevail? Just outpoint the guy and beat him?
It's kind of difficult to put a good wrestler on his back.
So we ended that period of the 177-pound class. Rico Ciparelli, he outpointed Dave Held 14-3 in a 177-pound match here. Now we have the 190-pound match coming up. We'll take a short pause. All right, now we're into the 190-pound match. We have Frank Myers from Edinburgh University against Dwayne Goldman of Iowa University.
Last match was 14-3.
This kid is super.
All right, and Dick Lumley said this Goldman is super, so we'll just watch and see this guy go at Frank Myers from Edinburgh.
That could be a kiss of death there too, Jack.
Upper body on these guys are really tremendous.
Frank Myers wrestled heavyweight in high school.
Where did he go to school, Dave?
General McLean High School.
Myers basically is a transfer from Clarion, Dick, and right now he has a record of 100 wins, 19 losses, and 1 tie.
That's his high school
senior record right at high school, and down at the Clarion he was 5-4 slate.
He's only a sophomore, transfer student. He went to high school here in Edinburgh.
Well, doesn't he have to sit out a year, Dick, if he transfers?
Not anymore. They changed that rule. The only place that applies is in Division I. And if you move, and the coach where you were will sign a waiver saying that you moved with his permission, you don't have to sit out a year anymore. You do have to sit out in football.
All right, so another coach should go over to another community, another university, and just sway a kid and get him to come here.
That's rather unethical.
Well, we don't know about that. All right, 190-pound class here. Frank Myers from Edinburgh and Dave Goldman from Iowa. And Goldman leading in this match 4-0.
He has Myers very much defending his back, Jack. There's the second set of back points.
Now 1 takedown and 2 sets of back points here so far. Goldman from Iowa over Myers of Edinburgh. 6-0 Goldman. We're only in the first period with about 50-some seconds left. The 190-pound match. All right, a little bit of information on Goldman. He was a 3-time NCAA runner-up. He's won 79 of his last 83 matches, Dick, so he's an excellent wrestler.
Yeah, as I said, I think I've watched him in a couple of national tournaments, Jack, and I think the kid's just a super wrestler. To be a runner-up 3 years in a row, it's got to be discouraging to him. This is his year, probably.
All right, another dangerous hold, Dick.
Yes, a little bit of reverse torque in the elbow there.
Well, you can imagine if they wouldn't call it, the guy could really get a very serious injury, right?
Yes. Knees, elbows, and shoulders are the most often things hurt in wrestling.
Dan Gable doing a little bit of talking with one of his wrestlers on the sideline.
We may have to wake him up.
Wake who up, Gable?
Mr. Gable. There's one of those tilts we were talking about. If Frank Myers goes to his head to defend his back, it's a near fall.
All right, so Goldman of Iowa leading Myers of Edinburgh in this 190-pound matchup, 6-0. And we're just about ready to end the first period. And that is the end of the first period, with Goldman leading Myers of Edinburgh 6-0. You have the match with Iowa with 24 points and the home-standing Edinburgh Fighting Scots with only 10.
The score, the team score, Jack, doesn't really show. Some of these bouts have been really interesting bouts. There's only really been one mismatch.
And another takedown for Goldman. That pushes his score up to 8-0 in this 190-pound match here. It looked like Myers is doing anything, Dick? Does he look like he's trying to do any wrestling, or just Goldman just so overpowering?
Goldman's a very dominant individual here, Jack.
There's a look at the crowd here, of the capacity crowd, we might add, for this fine wrestling match against the Division I's Power and Edinburgh University, Iowa. Iowa high school wrestling must be superb also, Dick.
It's about Iowa high school wrestling is probably comparable to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania and Iowa have been the dominant powers for a long time in the high school level of wrestling, with Ohio, New York, Michigan hanging in there.
All right, so Myers got himself an escape there, Dick.
Goldman just cut him loose, wants to work on his feet.
Has the wrestling philosophy changed, Dick, in past few years as far as letting them up and getting 2 for throwing them down and giving them 1 for letting them up? Or
sure,
did they take any pride in shutting out a wrestler and taking full command of them?
What they've gone to, Jack, is the difference in the decisions. If you have a regular decision by fewer than 8 points, that's just a 3-pointer. If your separation is from 8 to 12 points, then that's a major decision. The team gets 4 points. And if it's more than 12 points, then it's a superior decision, and the team gets 5 points. And if you get a 15-point differential, then it's a fall. Technical fall, one of which we have seen already tonight.
All right, so Goldman from Iowa is superior in this match right here against Myers from Edinburgh, leading 12-2. And we only have about 30 seconds left in, 12-3, 30 seconds left in the second period.
And Goldman just cut him loose again, Jack.
Cut him loose again, right.
There's a takedown. That makes it 14-3.
One more point is over, Dick?
No, it has to be a 15-point differential.
Oh, 15-point differential. There's Dick Lumley sitting there watching this match here. Very interesting. Dick, who do you open up with in your first match?
Our first match is a week from this coming Tuesday. We open up with Kennedy Christian High School from down in Sharon.
All right, and you expect to be as strong as you have been the past 2 years?
I don't believe so. We have a bunch of very young team coming back to Meadville. We'll probably have as many as 8 sophomores and freshmen in the lineup.
Well,
that's around for a long time, so we'll just have to see.
And that's the end of the second period in the 190-pound weight class with Frank Myers of Edinburgh and Dwayne Goldman of Iowa University. And Goldman is leading 14-3 with 2 minutes left in this match. Team score, 24 for Iowa and 10 for the Edinburgh Fighting Scots. We have one more match left here, the heavyweight, right, Dick?
That's right.
They call it unlimited. Not unlimited heavyweight.
It's not unlimited anymore. Even in college, there's a 286-pound weight limit. You're going to notice when the Iowa wrestler steps out in a match, he probably is about a 215 to 225-pound person.
Goldman didn't waste any time in escaping there to pick up his 15th point to 3 for Myers of Edinburgh.
And there's a takedown.
Another takedown there, Dick.
We're
getting to that point of 15-point differential.
14,
right?
He left him up, and if he takes him down again, it's all over.
This is what he's striking for. Only got 1 minute 32 seconds left in the third period here.
That's right. There's your 19-4. That's a technical fall, Jack.
Okay, so it's a technical fall for Goldman over Myers. Iowa wrestler Goldman winning by a technical fall. 19-4 over Frank Myers of Edinburgh. All right, we have the big boys here, Dick.
This Hall kid from Edinburgh is a Trent.
All right, we have Dean Hall from Edinburgh in a heavyweight and Andy Hammond from Iowa. You were saying, Dick, before I interrupted you.
This Hall kid is transferred, Jack, from Oklahoma State University, and last year he was 21-11, so the kid has some college experience in Division I wrestling.
All right, Iowa leading this match in team score 30-10 over Edinburgh. We're in the heavyweight division, the last match of the day. Dean Hall of Edinburgh faces Andy Hammond of Iowa.
The Edinburgh kid, Jack, is definitely larger than the boy from Iowa. Look at the way the Iowa kid's put together. You can tell there's some power in there.
And Hall gets his first takedown, takes a 2-0 lead. And Dick, you're talking about that weight differential. That might have been the very thing right there.
That was some pretty good quickness for a big boy, Jack. That was a real quick double leg.
I'd like to mention also that this intercollegiate wrestling match between Edinburgh and Iowa is being brought to you today by Buss Agency and also the Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania. 2-0. Hall of Edinburgh over Hammond of Iowa in the heavyweight class. Iowa leading this match 30-10. Final match of the day. Remember that big fella Taylor was in the NCAA a few years back. Dick, how much did he weigh?
Well, over 300 pounds. They've taken that out now. They've eliminated those big fellas.
And Dick, that's a pretty good strength for Hall, picking up Hammond and putting him back down in the mat there, right?
It takes a lot of calories to do that, and sometimes it speeds up your fatigue process.
Well, we'd estimate the weight of Hammond at what? 200 pounds?
Oh, he's probably 215, Jack. And the kid from Edinburgh is around 240, probably.
Once again, as you mentioned, Dick, this is a big boost for wrestling in Western Pennsylvania. bringing a caliber team of Iowa in here to wrestle Edinburgh, whose program is on the upswing under Coach Mike Deanna.
It sure is. It's about to be a major asset.
And also a good opportunity for a lot of high school wrestlers to come here and watch these people and watch two excellent coaches coach their teams. And of course, who would be any better than Dan Gable?
Well, you're watching two people that have conducted themselves throughout this match. Both coaching staffs as very distinct gentlemen.
Well, there hasn't been any reason to be upset anyway, right?
No, but there's some people that are upset all the time. Nice double shot again.
And there's another takedown for Hall.
Right on the buzzer, Jack.
Hanneman. And right at the buzzer there, we're going into the second period now of the heavyweight match between Dean Hall of Edinburgh and Andy Hammond of Iowa. Yeah, 1 point once again for what?
Hall.
Another escape for Hall. So Hall is from Edinburgh is leading this heavyweight match over Hanneman from Iowa, 5-2. We have 1:32 left in the second period. And off the mat they go. Dick, heavyweight versus the lighter weights in this. What type of wrestling do they do differently, you say, than the lightweights? You say it's slower and more methodical, and in some cases the scores are not as high.
It's definitely correct, because you can't expect a 240-pound kid to move like a 118-pound individual.
You coach them any differently, or you coach them the same way?
You coach them considerably different if you have the luxury of having the coaches to work with individual kids. Because these boys, if you notice, are working a lot of upper body stuff, or locking in the...
Bruce Bumgardner, assistant coach on the sideline, up and standing, giving encouragement to Hall. And another takedown for Hall.
Good straight double leg, Jack.
And Bumgardner must be awful proud of Hall at this time because, as you said before, he probably works for the heavier weight class.
I imagine Mr. Hall sees Mr. Bumgardner for a half hour a night on the mats, Coach.
And at 246 pounds that Bumgardner's carrying around is a lot to be thrown around the wrestling room. And Hall from Edinburgh in complete command of this match so far. We're about ready to end the second period as he picks him up and drops him almost on his head. So the heavyweight match, the last one, we have Hall leading 7-1 over Andy Hammond from Iowa.
There was a stalling warning, Jack, right there at the end of that period where the kid from Iowa was warned for stalling on the bottom. So they went into the third period, and Hall is very much in domination of this match. He is very quick on his feet. As you notice, when he made a shot, he exploded into things. And that's a sign of a very good heavyweight.
And Dick, we might mention that this is a first for our director, Steve Smith, a former high school wrestler at Plymouth Whitemarsh area, eastern Pennsylvania, and he's having an opportunity to be the director of a intercollegiate match. So that's a pretty good status for Steve.
You have the case here of a good heavy kid, Jack, dominating a pretty good kid that is really probably a 190-pounder.
And this, as you mentioned before, the weight distribution here looks like a punishing hold. And Hammond got out of that very nicely, Dick, from Iowa. You see Gable just still sitting over there.
I don't think he's
just like a regular fan. like a regular fan. He knew that basically he had the guys that could do it. Both Deanna and Bumgardner standing up now, giving encouragement to Hall, because I think they want this last match, because that'll be sort of an important victory for the Edinburgh program. 52 seconds left in the third period, and it will be the end of this match. Two heavyweights, Dean Hall from Edinburgh winning 7-2 over Andy Hammond of Iowa.
There's another quick move by that big heavyweight, Jack. Any young heavyweights who are watching, you can see how quickly you move when you do move. You don't look at things, you explode into them, and he did.
25 seconds left in this heavyweight match between Dean Hall of Edinburgh and Andy Hammond of Iowa. And Dean Hall leading 7-2. And another takedown for Hall, 9-2. And we have 5 seconds left in the third period of this heavyweight match.
Jack, I think the last match for Edinburgh is in pretty good hands.
So Edinburgh, Dean Hall wins the heavyweight match against Andy Hammond from Iowa. And we have a score. The team score was 30 for Iowa. We have 14 for Edinburgh. We must say that this was an excellent match, and the fans that come up to watch it were treated to some excellent wrestling. And as we watched here, we had only we had two blowouts, didn't we, Dick, in the match? And we'll be right back with a short wrap-up after these short messages. All right, back once again here at Macomb Fieldhouse. We have just ended the Iowa University Edinburgh wrestling match, and the Iowa University Hawkeyes were victorious over the Edinburgh Fighting Scots 30-14. We might mention that this intercollegiate wrestling match has been brought to you by Bush Agency and also Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania. And Dick, a few comments on the match before we wrap it up.
Again, as I said during the match, any young kids that watch this bout saw the best wrestling team in the United States, and they were basically fundamental wrestling. Just downright fundamental wrestling. They were not fancy, but what they did very well.
All right, Dick, we certainly do appreciate you taking time out of your daily life, your busy life, to come up here with us and be the analyst here at this match, and certainly it was a first for you. And we hope that everyone enjoyed the match, and CTV 13 enjoyed bringing it to you, and would like to give these credits for the camera work to Jim Cook and also Dwayne Clark, and our director, Steve Smith. And so this is Jack Christie along with Dick Lumley bidding you good evening from Macomb Fieldhouse in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania.